This video covers my trip to Guadalajara, Mexico, December 2025. I spent Christmas Day with Ashley and her mother Barbara, and here I am leaving to catch my flight to Guadalajara from Houston, Texas. And there went one of the neighborhood kids, and later on he turned around and came right back by. There he goes. The trip was a little over 2 hours, and I simply drove through the piney woods of eastern Texas. My nephew Jonathan took me to the airport, and here I am in the Houston airport. I was impressed with the art that was around and on the walls in the Houston airport. I thought this golden to-go box sculpture was amazing, as well as these other sculptures that helped me pass the time waiting for my flight. It was a very short 2-hour flight. Before I knew it, I was on the bus after getting off the plane, and I was in Guadalajara. And guess who was there to meet me? Yes, it was Eduardo. This was the first time I'd ever been in Guadalajara during the holiday season, and I was amazed by the decorations and the light work that they had done. The first was a bridge, and that is a radio tower that has been decorated as a Christmas tree, as you can see. It saddens me to say this, but Eduardo took me to one of my favorite restaurants for hamburgers, 4 de Kilo in Guadalajara. This is one of the best hamburgers I've ever had. My mom loved Greasy Spoon hamburgers, and I'm sure she would have loved these 4 de Kilo hamburgers. I couldn't say it then, but I can say it now. Delicioso. On Sunday morning, Guadalajara shuts down major routes and turns them into pedestrian and bike routes. I think this is really cool. Eduardo and I were off to do some shopping at one of the street markets, but first we had to take the subway. I personally really enjoy taking the subway in Guadalajara, and one of the reasons is all the artwork that can be found within the subway. I also really like their trains. They're fairly new, clean, and really nice. And we made it to the market. We were off to do our shopping. It was an interesting market. Every different stall was something completely different. Even though it was later on a Sunday afternoon, it was still shoulder-to-shoulder people the entire time. I took this video to remind me that this was still a street in Guadalajara. So I will say that's the first burned out car I've ever seen in Guadalajara. But these were not the first barbacoa tacos I've ever seen in Guadalajara, and all the delicious food. And here we are at the tequino stand. Tequino is basically rotten corn juice. Somebody enjoys it, but somebody else does not. I will let the video speak for itself. She put lemon ice on top of it to make it taste better. We'll see.
You're going to try it. Your tequino.
It is definitely an acquired taste. This was coconut milk straight out of a fresh coconut. and it was actually really good.
Not Tequino.
I thought the fountain honoring the agave was interesting. The next day, while Eduardo was working, I took a trip around the city. It was 16,000 steps for me, and I enjoyed every moment. These are tourist buses, and these are electric carriages that are replacing the horse and carriage for tourists. It took me a while, but I got a picture of one in operation. I thought it was really interesting, and I think these would be very good in U.S. cities as well. This is the Central Cathedral in Guadalajara, an incredibly beautiful building. These were Santa cottages where families would come, bring their children, and they'd have their picture taken with Santa. I thought it was funny. How could you explain to your children that there are 7 Santas in the Guadalajara Square on December 27th? It was interesting. People are amazing. This statue is the symbol of Guadalajara. The 2 lines represent the general and the bishop who founded the city for the Spanish. Eduardo and I had a wonderful dinner at Pipiolo's Carne Asada restaurant. There you can see the meat that they're grilling. Again, it was some amazing food. The table was for 2 people. It was an abundance of food. We were very, very happy with this delicious meal. Eduardo and I went to Parque Temático, which has a Navidad celebration of lights. It was very exciting and a must-see. And I apologize for all my mispronunciations of the Spanish name places. Never forget, I'm in Oki. The light displays are absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. The European Christmas village they built and the show they put on impressed me greatly. I'll let you watch a small part of it, and I hope you like it as much as I did.
Claro, lleno de luces y hecho de madera. También es un árbol mágico. Es un árbol mágico porque recoge toda la buena vibra que le enviamos y cuando se llena de buena vibra lo envía al universo en forma de luz para que llegue justo a la persona que lo está necesitando. Lo que tenemos que hacer es poner nuestras manos hacia el árbol de buena vibra del universo para que sea claro. Lo que tenemos que hacer es contar del 5 al 0 fuerte para que el árbol reaccione y la magia suceda. ¿Están listos? Aquí vamos. 5, 4, para ustedes. Gracias por compartir. Todo se regresa.
It was a beautiful set after the tree was lit.
That looks like he's been crucified. I don't think it accomplished what they were.
There was an homage to the Asian influence from the 3 wise men. I enjoyed attempting to turn the Ferris wheel. The larger-than-life nativity scene was absolutely stunning in its design. I was very impressed. There was lots of children who played with this screen, and this was the last one. I was able to get her on film. For our next lunch, Eduardo wanted to take me to a Japanese restaurant in Uma beside the Orca. Here I am opening a Japanese soda pop with some success. We had amazing octopus, which was turned into a batter and then fried. It was delicious. It always amazes me how well a Tapatio and an Okie can use chopsticks. That just amazes me. Someone's eyes was larger than his appetite. Afterwards, we walked around and looked at the really cool old architecture in the colonial area of Guadalajara. Later, Eduardo and I had dinner at Volcano's, Chicago-style deep dish pizza. And here it is. It was fun watching Mr. Eduardo try a deep dish pizza. I hope you're enjoying his battle with the cheese as much as I did. And after all that work, he liked it. I didn't get many pictures, but this is Tlaquepaque, Mexico, a suburb of Guadalajara. And early the next morning, I was off to catch my flight back to Houston. The trip to Guadalajara had ended, and I was back in the airport. I was trying to catch my plane, and luckily for me, I made it on time. It was another short 2-hour flight back to Houston that was uneventful, and I arrived at our international arrivals, quickly made it through customs, and was soon out the door to be greeted by my nephew Jonathan and the drive back to my RV. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this bonus video. I bought a toy at the market, and I decided to make a stop motion video. This is my first attempt. I was very proud of it and sent it to my friend Doug. He sent this back. It sort of shamed me, but I am in awe of his work. Thank you for watching. See you next time.